Just love, just home. The word's small, but the four letters from two each. For you can find them all. For the wide, gracious range of speech. Two more so tenderly complete when angels talk in heaven above. I'm sure they have no words but more sweet than a home and love. Just home and love, and it's hard to guess which of the two for the best to gain. For the home without the love is the bit off.
You're breathing without knowing how you breathe.
Thoughts of my ankles and fates and memories until they die. For the frost, for the happy scene, for the family of the July, for the book, the big fan, for the moving in the sky, for the never did sleep, even the waking eyes. Yeah. The children tell for the tale, for the hero, for the eager, for the eye, for the willing care, for the children who finding you near, for the dreaming, for the days that go by, for the dreams. All things are drifting down the stream, for the land where you're the down the stream, for this to be the dream, for this the only end of us all. And this is more of a only fable. For this is the love like a red rose, newly sprung in June. For the love like a melody, for the sweet playing a tune, for there to be the bone. D to be the dope and deep inside the sea, for the gang of the dry, for this the deer, for the rocks, for the melting of the sun, for the love, for the still my dear, for the shell run, for the these of the farewell. Fare thee well for the while. I'll to find that rose bloom in the garden as a bright star will, for the star, for the steadfast, for the art, for the now to be splintered, for the hunger your law, for the night, for the watching you with the eternal lids, and departing for the nature, for the patience in the sleep. Moving the waters for this task, here, round, earth, human, shore. Gazing on the new for the soft man and the finest snow, put them in the mountains and the moor, for the list of the stuff that's for the unchangeable, for the repeating of the press, of the feeling of the for soft over walls, the swelling of the witness. Mine rest is still for the tender breath. The living that blows a spoon. That poetry sound. And it's not captured by the indoors of technology, outdoor by the speed. Transport for the traveling of the world, for the next day, for the ancient civilization and over coast. I for the observe, for the human nature, for the society, for the earth, for the form, for the development of the feelings of the people around the country, for the features. I have nothing alone, for the sharing, for what we have that we belong. Climate, for the weather, for the not fit, for the long ways, for the calamities, for the pollution, the sad, the bitter, for the musty smell, for the devil. Technology for the transportation of the works well, idle times, idle passing along your ancient broadways. Either technologies or work well for some return for the gloomy days and still meant a Mediterranean for the hound I have it sent me a long letter for the envelope for the missing miss something worth taking our time for. Indifferent for the interesting for the ancient and terror not my friend. The most ancient civilization. Maybe the to everyone for the basin, for the mountain of the sea, for the vast of the water, for the line, for the localities and the spirit and choice. The children's noisy tour for the tent for the member be around for the counters. Obliviously, I have some empty space and deep mind for the writing for the things and change and suddenly horrible. First near for the green locality. I observe for the people that peacefully enough for the happy pleasure and timid surround. No state of mind. The significance of what you can compose. And what was formed. There's one for the memory you can find the harbor for the retiring for the hemisphere for the brain for the little finishing of the village that have no phone. Long ago for these names, and I for the muse, for the goodbye, for the quadrant, for the equation, for the bag, for the memorizing museum, for the order, for the planets into something to slip away into a state of a flower. Perhaps a capital. Boys for the tip of the tongue, for the lurking of some of the obscure, for the corner, for the spleen, for this is the floating away, for the mythological river, for the easy names that begin with the L, for the slur, if you could recall. The oblivion on where you could find the joining, for the forgotten with the swim, for the high to ride, bicycle, for the physics, and no matter where the eye to rise in the middle of the night. Date for the famous in the battle in the book, for the no war, for the wondering of the moon, for the window was singing, have drifted in love songs. Yeah, I used to know that heart. Forgetfulness came along for the once was the memory. Obediently for the title. What's reliable enough for the oblivious for the heartbreaking conclusion. You suddenly become one that you can never find or heard of, and you find a use for the harbor for the retiring hemisphere. The lack of the brain for the heart for the frying, long for the kiss, name for the muse. And who's goodbye? Whatever you're struggling to remember for the tipping of the tongue for the corner. Have your thoughts in the pulse, and the thoughts will be consumed. It will be solitude and rain, you're laughing and weeping alone. For the earth must borrow for the mirror, for the trouble, for the ending of its own, for the hills, for the answer, for the seeking of the echoes and the joyful sound, for the voicing of the care. Rejoice for the man will seek and grieve. You're determined to go for the full measurement of pleasure. Be sad for the yellows and mouth for the declining of the nectar from the wine for the alone you could drink mince out the girl for the weeds and the feast and the succeeding they're giving you all you live happily pleasured. Long for the early train, by for the one for the mustn't feeling often through the narrow aisles. Your pain is temporary. Marching the snow, a golden day. It could be covered with the new for the trampling of snow, soil for the stain inside and for the hip and for the volley, for the whole view for the pure white. once was a memory. Words my favorite song. Clearing the forgetfulness. Came along for the once was a memory. Obediently for the title. Was it liable enough for the yellow? Oblivious for the heartbreaking conclusion. You suddenly become one of the you can never find or heard of, and you're finding use for the harbor for the retiring hemisphere. A lack of the brain for the heart for the fry, long for the kiss, name for the muse, loose goodbye. Whatever you're struggling to remember for the tipping of the tongue for the corner. Have your thoughts in the pulse, and the thoughts will be consumed. It will be solitude to bring you laughing and weeping alone. For the earth must borrow for the mirth, for the trouble, for the ending of the sun, for the hills, for the ugly, for the sinking of the echoes in the drum, for sound, for the forcing of the care. Rejoice for the man will seeking good, the old return, the goal, for the gold, magic, and the pleasure. East half of yellows and mar for the declining of the nectar from the water. The Lord you can drink inside the girl for the reason, the feast, and the succeeding, you're giving you all you live, you have baby pleasure. Long for the lowly train, why for the one for the you must see for the love and through the night. Covered with the blue for the traveling in the snow, soil for the stain inside, and for the hidden, for the volley, for the whole blue, for the pure white, for the flakes and the trackless and the undried, sweet for the swings and the melody, for the mantling of the clean white, covered with the dew. This is the past, full for the sad mistakes, for the held hidden with the view, for the deeds and its white as slow. Flakes for the earth, for the notes inside the eternal spring, for the white, for the mantling of repentance and the flinging of draperies, and how it fold for the this is the new cover, for the gold, for the old solitude. Had that golden day for the might have been. The subtle beauty for the day, for the hanging over, for the care, for the grief, for the flying away, for the fly, for the hold, for the heart, for the same, for the not know, for the unadmitted, for the completed, for the active breath, for the sweet, for the care, for the high, name, ranking, wealth, for the fame, for the past, for the work, matters, ease, the future, for the it cannot see, the care, for the not, the save today, for this is the respite, for the all, the care, for the troubles of the folly, for the not, the will, where rest is light, go, apart. On the strife for the day, for the rap, they get over the spell, for the effort, the breeze, and all is well, for this is what you can think. A memory for the passport, undamned for the life, for the special for peace. Resources for this mentally, for the instruction for the loving you. And for the mind, for the loving, for the heart, for the move, for the cold, for the fire, for the only because you and I love for the deeply they're hating too. Bending to the you for the measure, for the changing of love. For you to see that love for you to be so blinded, for the divine and life concern. For the still, for the king, for the king, the true to the home, to the this is the part of the story, for you can write it down. Death, this is the death, denying the love because of I love you, because I love you, because of the fire and love. Forgetting you for you, easily for exceptions for because I love you. The crystal moon for the reverence, for the slow autumn, for the window, for the touching of the fire, for the indelible ash, for the wicked and the light, for the love, for the carriage, for the light matters, and wherever you can find through the aisles when you wait for me. Suddenly you forgot. She was my favorite song. Forgetfulness. What's love and love for the young? Really is for the hybrid conclusion. You suddenly become one and you can never run on earth. You find no use for the hybrid for the retired misfit. And lack of the brave for the heart for the fun, long for the kids, name for the me, some to goodbye. Whatever you're struggling to remember for the tipping of the tongue for the queen. Have your thoughts in the past, and the thoughts will be consumed. It'll be solitude and bring you laughing and weeping alone. For the earth must bow for the mirth, for the trouble, for the ending of the sun, for the hills, for the effort, for the sinking of the echoes and the joyful sound, for the voicing of the king. Rejoice for the man was seeking good, you're determined to go for the good measurement of pleasure. Be sad for ye losing them all for the declining of the nectar from the water. The Lord you could drink inside the go for the weeds and the feast and the succeeding you're giving you all you live happily pleasure. Long for the lowly train, blind for the one for the one I soon feeling walking through the narrow aisles. Your pain. It could be covered with the new for the trampling in snow, soil for the stain inside and for the hip and for the volley, for the whole view, for the pure white, for the flakes and the trackless and the undry, sweet for the swings and the melody, for the mountain and the clean white, covered with the dew. This is the past, for the sad mistakes, for the holy, hidden with the view, for the deeds and its white, the slow flakes, with the earth, for the notes inside the eternal spring, for the white, for the mantling of repentance and the flinging of draperies, from how it fold, for the this is the new covering up of the gold, for the old solitude, had that golden day for the might have been. So the beauty for the day, for the hanging over, for the care, for the grief, for the flowing away, for the flying, for the hope, for the heart, for the sin, for the not know, for the unminute, for the completing, for the active breath, for the sleep, for the care, for the high, name, ranking, wealth, for the fame, for the past, for the work, matters, peace, the future, for the it cannot see, the care, for the not, the save today, for this is the respect, for all the care, for the troubles of the father, for the not, the way, restless, light, go, part, own, the strife, for the day, for the rapid, get over the spell, for the effort, the breeze, and all is well, for this is what you can think. I never made for the past, but I know.
What a convenience. What a demonstration. What a divine acting. All too usual and familiar, for this is the look, for the crystal moon, for the red branch of the still autumn, for the window, for the touching of the flash, the ash, the fire, the ranking the body of the law, for the everything that exists through your aroma, for the metals and those that still, for the hill, for the hours, for those that wait for me, for the well now. I can start loving me, for the stealth and loving you too, for the little by little, I can suddenly forget, for the not looking for the shell, for the forgotten. For the wild banners, for the wind, passes through the life of you deciding to leave me at your heart, for the wear, for the hide, the loosen to remember that day. And hours for the shelter, thing of the heart, for the roots that set off for the seeking of another land. Each day for the hour, the feeling of the destined for me, for the kept up. Each day, crying for the lips of the seeking the love. It's me for the fires repeated.
What a convenience. What a demonstration. What a divine act. All too usual and familiar, for this is the look, for the crystal moon, for the red branch of the still autumn, for the window, for the touching of the flash, the ash, the fire, the ranking the body of the law, for the everything that exists through your aroma, for the metals and those that still, for the hill, for the hours, for those that wait for me, for the well now. I can start loving me, for the self and loving you too, for the little by little, I can. What a convenience. What a demonstration. too usual and familiar, for this is the look for the crystal moon, for the red branch of the still autumn, for the window, for the touching of the flash, the ash, the fire, the wrinkling body of the law, for the everything exists through your aroma, for the metals of those who snail, for the whole, for the hours, for those who wait for me, for the well now. I can start loving me for the self and loving you too, for the little by little. I can suddenly forget for the not looking for the shell, for the forgotten, for the wild badness, for the
What a convenience. What a demonstration. What a divine act, and all too usual and familiar, for this is the look for the crystal moon, for the red branch of the still autumn, for the window, for the touching of the flash, the ash, the fire, the wrinkling body of the law, for the everything exists through your aroma, for the metals of those who snail, for the whole, for the hours, for those who wait for me, for the well now. I can start loving me for the self and loving you too, for the little by little. I can suddenly forget for the not looking for the shell, for the big item. For the wild vanish with the wind, passes through the life of you deciding to leave me as shore. Heart for the wear, for the habit, loosen the remember that day. And I was for the shell, the thing of the heart, for the roots to set off with the seeking in another land. Each day for the hour, the feeling of the destined for me, for the kept up each day.
what a convenience. What a demonstration. What a divine act, and all too usual and familiar, for this is the look for the crystal moon, for the red branch of the still autumn, for the window, for the touching of the flash, the ash, the fire, the wrinkling body of the law, for the everything exists through your aroma, for the metals of those who snail, for the whole, for the hours, for those who wait for me, for the well now. I can start loving me for the self and loving you too, for the little by little. I can suddenly forget for the not looking for the shell, for the forgotten, for the wild badness, for the wind passes through the life of you deciding to leave me as shore. Heart for the wear, for the have, the loosen, remember that day. And I was for the shell, the thing of the heart, for the roots set off for the seeking of another land. Each day for the hour, the feeling of the destined for me, for the kept up each day. Crying for the lips of the seeking of love. The sleep for the fires for peace. It's nothing for the extinguishing of the forgotten. It's the feast for the love for the beloved, as long as you live it with the arms and without leaving. I go far off the way. When I feel the day together, I say today long for the waiting for you, for the empty station, for the train parked off till you're asleep, for this is the drop, anguish and around me together, for the smoke, for the woman, for the home, for the drip, choking my lost heart, silhouette for the never dissolving in the beach, the sand for the idols, for the flood, for the empty distance, for the living in the second for the years, momentarily for the name, asking for you, coming for you, freshness and living in an all for the smelling of the rhyme proportions. You will find allegations for the transfer to go for the universe and the well and village touch. Miracles of the breasts of the blues, the blues, the blues, the simple ways in front of the view, and fire to cut. Not too far off the key. Past it is the moment for the past of the dream. This will come to you and find the wishes. Taking as a lava for the entrance of the river, for the victory from the coming of the lake. Dancing how to arrive at the figure of the physical emotion that's eternally crushing. Your clear fancy form from this to the hour that clear for the white rain. Spare for the milk for the shedding the clouds. You slowly for the thick darkness and soil over the flowers that dances. And whether it's white to be seen as a country. Night for the distant emotion. Spirit into the world that's starting to see. Constellation. Celestial. Chance for the clenching soul. Drunk as a flower on translation made by the fingers of yellow metal. You were wet for the body that was wedged, for the luring, for the blanket and bucket, for the down as well, for the coming into the night, for the fortunate like a fishing under the net of kisses. Equinox for the drowsy tangling together, for the months that we woke with the bit of a July, for the big fandom, for the
What it
looking in the
means.
sky, for the never did sleep in the waking eyes. Yeah.
What it demonstrates.
The children tell, for the tale, for the ear, for the eager, for the eye, for the willing ear, for the children, and finding you near, for the dreaming, for the days that go by, for the dreams. All thing drifting down the stream, for the lane ring of the down the dream, for this to build the dream, for this the only end of a song. And this is more for the jolly fate, for this the love like a red rose, newly sprung in June, for the love like a melody, for the sweet playing a tune, for there to be the bone. Be the beat up and deep inside the sea, for the gang of the dry, for this the deer, for the rocks, for the melting of the sun, for the love, for the seal, my dear, for the shell round, for the decent, the farewell. Fare thee well for the while. I'll be gone and won't be back. To find that rose bloom in the garden as a bright star, I will for the star, for the steadfast, for the art, for the now to be splintered, for the hungry, the law, for the night, for the watching with the eternal lids, and departing for the nature, for the patience and the sleep. Moving in waters for this task, pure, round, earth, human, shores. Gazing on the new for this soft man, and I find the snow with the mountains and the more for the distance, the stuff as for the unchangeable, for the ripening of the breast, for the feeling of oversoft, for overwalk, for the swelling of awakeness. Unrest is still for the tender breath, the living of those a swoon. You can hear that poetry sound. It's not captured by the indoors of technology, outdoor by the speed, transport for the traveling of the world, for the next day, for the ancient civilization and over coast, eye for the observe, for the human nature, for the society, for the earth, for the form, for the development of the feeling, for the people around the country, for the features. I have nothing alone, for the sharing, for what we have, that we belong. Climate, for the weather, for the not fit, for the long ways, for the calamities, for the pollution, for the bitter, for the musty smell, for the devil. Technology for the transportation, if it works well, idle times, idle passing along an ancient Broadway. Neither technologies or work well for those that return for the gloomy days and still matter returning for the hound I have it sent me. Be a long letter for the envelope, for the missing is something for the taking our time for. Indifferent for the interesting, for the ancient and tearing not my friend. The most ancient civilization. Maybe the end of everyone, for the basin, for the mountain of the sea, for the vast of the water, for the lines, for the localities and the spirit and choice. The children's noisy tour for the deaf, for the never be around for the count. Obliviously, I have some empty space and deep mind for the writing, for the things and change and suddenly orb. Met the first near for the green locality. I observed the people there peacefully enough for the happy pleasure, for 10 minutes around it. No state of mind, for the significance of what you can compose, and what was formed. There's one for the memory you can find the hobby, for the retiring, for the hemisphere, for the brain, for the little finishing of the village and they have no phone. Long ago for these names, and I for the muse, for the goodbye, for the quadrant, for the equation, for the bag, for the memorizing museum, for the order, for the planets and the something to slip away into the state of a flower.